Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I want to talk a little bit about uranium. All right, let me let that focus so we can take a good look at this. And yeah, obviously I don't have real uranium. This is just a laser pointer, but I had to have some kind of, visual effect for uranium, right? Actually, uranium is not even really green. It's kind of a yellow-green color when it's naturally found, and then once it's processed into pieces, or even the pellets, I think are used a lot in the nuclear reactors. Those are just silvery, kind of white silver. Looks just like stainless steel or something. But I found uranium to be extremely, extremely interesting. I've talked about a couple of these different stocks that I've invested in personally, and I just recently purchased some UEC, or Uranium Energy Corp. All right. The name Admir Adnani keeps popping up. I invested in his mining company, as well as the investors company that basically provides a lot of the funds for those mines. And I'm just diversifying my portfolio, so I figured I'd share with you guys. So this is one of those presentation packets. You guys can see this online if you go to uraniumenergy.com. All right, there is the website right here. Now, one of the reasons why I picked UEC, and there's a bunch of them, which we'll go over a few, but one of the biggest reasons is the future of energy around the world. Not just America, but just world energy. Everyone's pushing clean energy. It is the future. It's the future for America. It's the future for Europe and countries all around the world. You see in America, Biden and his administration really pushing for clean energy. I have to use quote there because there's a bunch of different ways you can have clean energy. Nuclear generated electricity is the cleanest. And we'll look at a chart a little bit later on that. But there's just a massive push for it. So this is something that I feel like is going to be focused on heavily in the future. Although I'm a huge proponent for gas and oil because it's worked fine for literally hundreds of years. It's not our future. I really foresee the entire world pushing for this clean energy. So looking at this presentation here, this is page 36 if you want to reference it on the website. You can see this chart, all right? Nuclear power, carbon-free, clean energy, America's largest clean energy source. All right, you can see all the different forms of energy: coal, gas, biomass, solar PV, geothermal, hydropower, wind, and nuclear. And nuclear is all the way to the right. It has the least emissions of all the different versions of how we create energy. So this is something that I really feel is going to be focused on in the future. Now, I know some people talk about these giant windmills that are creating energy, and those things they're finding are really failing. They're supposed to last 20 years. They're not even lasting 20 years. It creates a tremendous amount of emissions, using coal and oil and stuff to even create those things in the first place. And they're massive problems they're creating. Birds are dying and running into them, all kinds of different things. And then, of course, people are talking about solar panels, and solar panels were great for a long time, but now people are finding that they're causing a lot of problems too. They don't last nearly as long as people would think. They break. So it's just one of those things. I mean, nuclear power is immense. You can do your own research on that. But like I said, I feel like it is a big part of the future of energy around the world. And uranium, if you don't know, is basically like the batteries for these nuclear plants. It is the raw material that is used to create this nuclear electricity, all right, that runs our world. Now, another big factor for me investing in UEC is current events, okay? The conflict with Russia and the Ukraine, it's created a huge stir-up in energy supply. If you don't know, and I didn't know until I researched this, half of the uranium comes from Russia and Kazakhstan. All right, and obviously America is not very happy with Russia, and we're not getting that uranium from Russia anymore, all right, which comprises about half of the U.S. Uranium supply, all right, and UEC is the biggest U.S. uranium company. They actually have 5 million physical pounds of uranium, okay, with tons of projects to create more. That is amazing. 5 million pounds of actual physical uranium stored in warehouses. That's huge. All right, so if you're talking about investing in uranium, there are plenty of companies, but this is it. This is the big boy on the block. This is the big American company, and this is the one that I chose to invest in. Now, one of the other reasons why I chose to invest in it, and I didn't even think about investing in uranium at all until I started looking at the gold stocks and stuff, and I started keep hearing the name Admir Adnani. All right, and I've talked about that in previous videos because he owns many different companies. All right, so we take a look down here. All right, this is page 13 of this presentation. All right, you can see Amir Nani here. All right, and he is the CEO of this company. All right, and he has a lot of experience with uranium. In fact, this whole page here, and again, you can reference this on the website so you can read it a little bit better than through this video. But this is a bunch of different team members, all right, and what they're bringing to the table here as far as this company and its potential growth. There is a huge potential for growth. There was potential before the conflict with Russia, but now that happened, there's a huge push. All right, so let's take a look at these charts real quick here. All right, for UEC, this is the 1-day chart. Here's the 5-day, 1 month, 6 months, year to date. All right, we go to 1 year, 5 year, and then here's their max chart. Now, if you go back to the 5-year chart here, you can see it was pretty stable for a while between like $1 and $2. All right, then it started to rise. You see it peaked here the first time at about 450, 458, all right, November 5th of last year. And then it peaked again here in April, all right, 2022 at $6.40 a share, all right, came back down, but it's on the rise again. And that's why I purchased it. I purchased it here, all right. I think I bought in at $4.15, if I remember correctly, and it's already slowly rising as of the filming of this video. But the whole idea is that as time goes on, it's just going to go up and up and up. It is a undervalued thing right now because of the future of clean energy. That's at least my opinion. But it's the opinion of many very wealthy, much smarter people than I. That's why they're investing in this company. There's a ton of people who invested in UEC, understanding the potential for that growth, but also stable growth. When you talk about the stock market and any investments, you have high risk, high reward, low risk, low reward. There's things that are more stable. You might not make it nearly as much money, but there's more probability to make that money. And then you have the really high risk stuff where you can make a ton of money or you can lose a ton of money quickly. This is neither. This is kind of right there in the middle where you can have more potential of making a little bit more money than maybe some of the super stable stuff, but it's not as high risk. So anyway, I just wanted to share my current investments. I'm trying to really diversify with all kinds of different things. Things have been crazy all around the world in the last couple of years. Ever since, the pandemic and stuff, it's just been really kind of up and down, pretty extreme. The US and a lot of countries are really hurting right now. The whole world is hurting. And there's going to be a bounce back. It just has to happen. The world's not going to end tomorrow. We always bounce back. So the idea is that when we're low, you get in, you make these investments, and then, when we come out the other side and things are better, you cash out and you have your money. I could tell you in the beginning of the pandemic, I invested in a lot of different energy stocks, a lot of oil and gas, things like that, because I knew it was going to come back. Society needs this kind of stuff to run. We need energy. We always will. So those were pretty safe bets, and I doubled my money. I spent a couple $1,000s in the beginning of the pandemic investing in these energy stocks, among many other stocks as well. And I doubled that money, all right, very shortly because there was a good bounce back. No one really knows what the future holds, but these are just little tidbits here and there of ways you could possibly make money. And at this point, I do want to say that, it's very important that you fully understand anything before you invest it. Don't just take my word for it. Research this company, and if you feel like this is a good investment, then go ahead and invest it. But I'm just telling you that I personally invested in this, and I'm telling you why. Because I see the potential for growth. I see the potential to make money in this stock because we're going to need this energy. We're going to need uranium for nuclear power in the future. And I think it's going to be heavily focused on in the future, not only during this administration, which is very, very clear, but future administrations. So in my mind, why not invest in the biggest uranium company in America? So that's why I went with UEC. And like I said, I was fully exposed to this when I first got into those gold mining stocks and stuff. And again, looking at the different companies that Amir Nani owns, this is his biggest one. And at first I didn't really have much interest, but the more I read about it, the more I understood it, because I didn't understand how nuclear reactors work and all that kind of stuff. I'd highly recommend watching videos, whether you invest or not. It's really fascinating. It's a very interesting subject to see exactly how we get that nuclear power. But yeah, I was just sold on the idea. So I invested my own money in it, and now I'm telling you about it. This is, of course, a sponsored video, as you probably saw in the beginning of the video up in the corner there. So I am being paid to talk about this, but I truly believe in it myself. I've invested in my own money. So we'll see what happens in the future. I will do an update down the road with these different videos, different stocks and stuff, and I'll let you know how I did, over a period of time. So again, for me, it's all about diversity. This is just another little piece of the puzzle for my portfolio. And trust me, it is a small piece of the puzzle. I'm not a big player, you know, investing millions of dollars, obviously. But it is my hard-earned money, and I would like to see it grow. So I don't just invest in things randomly. I do my research, and I invest in things that I feel are going to grow. I've been pretty successful, knock on wood, in the past. All of the stocks that I've purchased have made me money, every single one of them. Some of them not much, and some of them a lot more. But doing your homework and having the patience, knowing when to cash out, so to speak, is a big part of that as well. And as I've always said before, variety is the spice of life. So this is just my next investment. And you guys are going to see a separate video in the future of something else, another physical metal that I purchased for the very first time ever. Because again, I'm just trying to diversify. So that's all. Hopefully you guys have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.